Want to dominate Mobile Legends like a pro? Whether you're stuck in Mythic or grinding to mythical glory, these 50 general to advanced tips and tricks will take your gameplay to the next level. Ever wondered how pros always seem to be one step ahead? What if I told you there's a way to fake recall like a boss, steal Lord with style, and outplay your enemies with mind-blowing mechanics? Ready to become unstoppable? Let's dive in with general tips. 1. Master the map. The minimap is your best friend in Mobile Legends. Always keep an eye on it to track enemy movements, spot missing enemies, and avoid ganks. If you notice an enemy disappearing from a lane, they might be heading to gank you or another lane. Use this information to warn your team or prepare for an ambush. Map awareness is crucial for survival and making strategic decisions. 2. Use Quick Chat. Quick chat messages are essential for fast communication. Customize them to include important calls like enemy missing, retreat, or attack the Lord. This helps your team stay coordinated without needing to type. For example, if you see the enemy jungler heading toward a lane, a quick enemy missing ping can save your teammate from a gank. 3. Adjust settings. Optimize your control settings for smoother gameplay. For example, increase your camera sensitivity for better map awareness or enable hero lock mode to target specific enemies in team fights. You can also customize your skill cancel settings to avoid wasting abilities. Experiment with these settings in practice mode to find what works best for you. 4. Learn hero roles. Each role in Mobile Legends has a specific purpose. Tanks absorb damage, mages provide burst damage, marksmen deal sustained damage, assassins pick off squishy targets, fighters are versatile, and supports heal or buff allies. Understanding these roles helps you play your hero effectively and work better with your team. 5. Practice last hitting. Last hitting minions ensures you get the maximum gold and experience. Time your attacks to land the final blow on minions, especially in the early game. This gives you a gold advantage, allowing you to buy items faster and dominate your lane. Use basic attacks or low cooldown skills to secure last hits. 6. Use Retribution Wisely. Retribution is a must-have spell for junglers. Use it to secure jungle creeps, turtle, and lord. Save it for high-value objectives like turtle or lord to ensure your team gets the buff. Avoid wasting it on small jungle creeps unless you need the heal or mana. 7. Rotate efficiently. Rotating between lanes helps you support your team and secure kills. For example, if you're a mid laner, gank the side lanes after clearing your wave. This puts pressure on the enemy and creates opportunities for your team to take objectives. Always look for chances to help your teammates. 8. Prioritize objectives. Focus on destroying towers, securing turtle, and taking lord over chasing kills. Objectives win games, not kills. For example, taking down a tower opens up the map and gives your team more control. Always prioritize objectives when the opportunity arises. 9. Adapt your build. Adjust your item. Build based on the enemy team's composition. For example, if the enemy has a lot of magic damage, build magic defense items like Athena's shield. If they have strong lifesteal, buy glowing wand or sea halberd to counter it. Flexibility in your build can turn the tide of the game. 10. Use vision. Vision is key to avoiding ambushes and securing objectives. Heroes like Selena and Popple can provide vision with their skills. Always keep an eye on the map to stay one step ahead of the enemy. 11th. Check bushes. Always assume enemies are hiding in bushes, especially if they're missing from the map. Use skills or wards to reveal them before entering. For example, tanks can lead the way and check bushes for ambushes. Never face check bushes alone if you're a squishy hero. 12th. Track junglers. Keep an eye on the enemy junglers' movements to predict ganks. If you see them heading toward a lane, warn your teammates or prepare for a counter gank. Knowing where the enemy jungler is gives your team an advantage in securing objectives. 13. Ping missing enemies. If an enemy disappears from your lane, ping enemy missing to alert your team. This helps prevent ganks and keeps your team informed. For example, if the enemy mid laner is missing, they might be heading to gank the side lanes. 14. Control river areas. The river is a key area for securing objectives like turtle and lord. Control the river to deny the enemy team vision and secure objectives for your team. 15. Watch for roamers. Roamers like tanks and supports often move between lanes to gank. Keep an eye on their movements and warn your team if they're missing. For example, if the enemy roamer is missing, they might be setting up a gank in another lane. 16. One-trick strategy. The one-trick strategy involves mastering a single hero and using them exclusively for an entire season. This allows you to fully understand the hero's mechanics, strengths, and weaknesses. By focusing on one hero, you can climb ranks more effectively because you'll consistently perform at a high level. 17. Avoid overextending. Don't push too far into enemy territory without vision or backup. Overextending makes you an easy target for ganks. Always keep an eye on the minimap and retreat if you're unsure about enemy positions. 18. Time objectives. Keep track of turtle and lord spawn timers. It's help you to making good decision. 19th. Predict rotations. Anticipate where enemies will move next based on their movements and objectives. For example, if the enemy team is grouping mid, they might be preparing for a team fight or push. 20. Focus on team fights. In the late game, team fights decide the outcome of the match. Stick with your team and focus on taking down high-priority targets like the enemy damage dealers. Avoid splitting up unless you're split-pushing with a hero like Xylong or Argus. 21. Protect your carry. Tanks and supports should prioritize protecting the damage dealer, marksman, or mage. Use crowd control and defensive skills to keep them safe. For example, a tank like Tigreal can use his ultimate to lock down enemies attacking your carry. 22nd. Split push wisely. Split pushing is a strategy where one player pushes a lane while the rest of the team distracts the enemy. Use heroes with high mobility like Ling, Argus, or Xylong for this. Be careful not to overextend, and always keep an eye on the minimap to avoid getting caught. 23rd. Master positioning. Stay in the right spot during team fights. For example, marksmen should stay behind tanks and deal damage from a safe distance. Good positioning keeps you alive and maximizes your impact. 24. Bait enemies. Lure enemies into traps or ambushes by pretending to retreat or overextend. For example, a tank can pretend to be alone in a lane while the rest of the team hides in a bush. When the enemy engages, your team can counterattack. 25th. Focus on backline. In team fights, assassins and fighters should target the enemy backline, marksman, and mage. For example, heroes like Gusion and Lancelot can dive the backline and eliminate high-priority targets. This reduces the enemy's damage output and gives your team an advantage. 26. Avoid overcommitting. Don't chase kills if it puts you at risk. For example, chasing an enemy into their jungle without vision can lead to an ambush. Always weigh the risks and rewards before committing to a fight. 27. Use Lord wisely. Lord is a game-changing objective that can push lanes and destroy towers. Use Lord to pressure the enemy base and create opportunities for victory. 28. Adapt to meta. Stay updated on the current meta and adjust your strategy accordingly. Flexibility is key to staying competitive. 29th. Counter build. Build items that counter the enemy team's composition. For example, if the enemy pick invisible hero like Aemon, Natalia, or Leslie build Cursed Helmet to visible them. 30. Use Survive build. Buy Immortality and Winter Crown. These items can turn the tide of a team fight. Use it to survive burst damage and continue fighting. However, be careful not to rely on it too much as it has a long cooldown. Now let's dive in with advanced tips. 31st. Stutter Step. Stutter stepping is a technique where you move between attacks to maximize DPS. For example, as a marksman, attack an enemy, then move slightly to reposition, and attack again. This allows you to deal damage while staying mobile. 32nd. Kite Enemies. Kiting is a technique where you attack while moving away from the enemy. For example, attack the enemy, then move back to maintain distance and avoid taking damage. 33rd. Learn skill combo. Use right skill combos to maximize your hero potential. For example, Julian have burst combo, crowd control combo, and sustain combo. Mastering these combos allows Julian to adapt to any situation, whether it's bursting down a carry, controlling a team fight, or sustaining in prolonged battles. 34. Use Flicker. Flicker is a versatile spell that can be used for escaping or initiating. For example, Tigreal can use Flicker to reposition his ultimate and catch multiple enemies. 35. Perfect timing. Use Flicker, Purify, or Winter Crown at the right moment to avoid crowd control or burst damage. For example, activate Purify when the enemy uses a stun or slow to escape or counterattack. 36. Dodge skills. Practice sidestepping to avoid skill shots. For example, if the enemy Franco is trying to hook you, move unpredictably to make it harder for him to land his skill. Dodging skills can save your life in critical moments. 37th. Steal buffs. Invade the enemy jungle to steal their buffs. For example, if you're playing an assassin like Ling or Fanny, you can sneak into the enemy jungle and take their red or blue buff. This denies the enemy resources and gives you an advantage. 38. Learn power spikes. Every hero has a power spike, which is when they're strongest. For example, marksmen like Claude and Mia are strong in the late game, while assassins like Fanny and Gusion are strong in the early to mid game. Play around your hero's power spikes to dominate the game. 39th. Control waves. Freeze or push lanes to control the flow of the game. For example, freezing a lane near your tower forces the enemy to overextend, making them vulnerable to ganks. Pushing a lane creates pressure and forces the enemy to respond. Try hero combos. When playing with a friend, coordinate hero picks that create unstoppable synergies, like Hanabi plus Lolita, Freya plus Diggy, Atlas plus Odette, etc. These combos can dominate lanes and team fights. 41st, master multiple roles. Be versatile and fill roles your team needs. For example, if your team lacks a tank, pick a tanky hero like Tigreal or Kufra. Being able to play multiple roles makes you a more valuable teammate. 42nd, use Turret Aggro. Let turrets target minions or tanks instead of you. For example, if you're diving an enemy under their turret, let the tank take the turret aggro while you deal damage. This allows you to secure kills without taking too much damage. 43rd, bait. Ultimate skills. Trick enemies into wasting their ultimates. For example, pretend to overextend to bait out an enemy's ultimate, then retreat and re-engage when their skills are on cooldown. This gives you an advantage in fights. 44. Save ultimate. Treat your ultimate ability as a game-changing resource rather than a spammable skill. Simply having your ultimate available can zone enemies, so use it only when it's needed most. 45. Avoid solo fights. In the late game, stick with your team to avoid being picked off. For example, if you're a marksman, never wander alone without vision or backup. Solo deaths can lead to losing objectives or even the game. 46. Defend inhibitors. Inhibitors, base turrets, are critical in the late game. If they're destroyed, the enemy can spawn mega minions, which are extremely powerful. Always prioritize defending your inhibitors and avoid unnecessary fights that could lead to losing them. 47th. Use mega minions. If you destroy an enemy inhibitor, push the lane with mega minions to create pressure. Mega minions are tough to clear and can destroy towers on their own. Use this advantage to force the enemy to split up and defend. 48th. End. Quickly. If you have advantage, don't drag out the game. Push lanes, secure lord, and destroy the enemy base as quickly as possible. The longer the game goes, the more chances the enemy has to come back. 49. Stay on. Late game situations can be stressful, but staying calm is key to making good decisions. For example, if your team is behind, focus on defending and waiting for the enemy to make a mistake. A single team fight can turn the game around. 50. Learn counters. Know which heroes counter your main picks. For example, if you're playing Fanny, be aware that Kufra and Akai can counter her mobility. Understanding counters helps you adapt your playstyle and item builds. Not in the list, but the last one. 51. Never give up. Even if you're behind, a single team fight can turn the game around. Always play your best until the end. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments. Which tip helped you the most? Or do you have your own advanced trick to share? I'd love to hear from you.